And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have Rossie Mccree with me. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
And it's good to have you back again. I know that we had a little bit of a break because of Thanksgiving holidays and stuff. It's just
Right.
good to have you back on here again, talking about Sweet
Thank
Tooth,
you.
episode 3 of Dear Shit.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Love that.
um, I just love this title because it just cracks me up. When I see like
Right.
swear words in titles of TV shows, it just cracks me up
Right.
sometimes. Like for instance with Dexter, they had a show that they had a title called Storm of F, which is Storm of Fuck. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
but yeah, just seeing the title made me laugh.
It's
But
that whole Family Guy thing, right? The Family
exactly,
Guy episode where, yeah. Okay.
exactly. You know where I'm going.
I know where you're going. I know.
But anyways, guys, so basically I want to go do a little bit of a recap. It's not going to be much of a recap. This is from episode 2. We actually forgot one little thing. But hey, I think it's a good thing that we might have forgotten. It gives you guys a little bit of a surprise about what happens. But basically, there's a scene at the very end of it where Big Man and Gus continue to walk to the next town while Amy discovers a hybrid pig baby outside the zoo. Amy is actually the psychiatrist that was introduced
Right.
at the very beginning of the episode, and then of course the episode with Big Man and of course Sweet Tooth, which is Gus.
Right.
They wind up coming across this one family, and then Big Man's thinking, okay, maybe this would be a good family for Gus to
Right.
have since they're more welcoming towards hybrids. Then some
Right.
guys wind up breaking into this family's house, which causes them not to be able to, for him to leave them with Sweet Tooth with them.
Right.
So that's
Right.
what winds up happening over there. So now they're on a quest once again to get Gus to Colorado. So
Right.
here's the thing. At the very beginning of this episode, you see a bunch of girls playing this VR video game,
Right.
and you don't quite know if they're actually after hybrids or if they're protectors of hybrids because of the
Right.
video game that they're actually choosing to play, because they're actually pretending to be animals taking
Right.
down other humans. But at the same time, it has that, and I like how in this episode they kind of use let's see, Planet of the Apes
Right.
in this show, which is a perfect example of hybrids versus humans, which is
Right.
also apes versus humans in the Planet of the Apes films. So it's a little bit
Right.
of a foreshadowing, a little bit of that to me when I saw that. And I thought that was a good callback to something
Right.
like that. But yeah, the introduction of this is very interesting. What did you think about the intro when you first saw it?
Oh, kind of like the same thing, like, because obviously it starts off with these kids playing this video game where they're, like you said, hybrids or whatever, going against the humans. And so the way that they introduce them, you see them playing the video game, they're having a good time, but you don't know what you what to quite think about them. Um, Being that they're kids, it kind of looked like they were kind of these orphaned outlaw kids, but you don't really know because it cuts and that's all you see. You just see these kids playing.
Right. And you don't know what to
Yes,
think of them or anything like
you
that.
don't know what to think about them yet.
Once again, this show winds up doing a whole entire misdirection because of the fact that you
Yes,
don't know where this plot is going. How does this
right,
connect with anything? Yet again, it looks like it's
right.
disarrayed. It looks like it's disassembled. But
And I
once you
like that
get,
though.
me too. I like the fact that I don't know everything, and it glues you
Right.
in that mystery element to the show
Yeah,
where you're
right,
like, okay, when are we going to get to them again? Because then it
right.
quickly cuts back over to Gus and Big Man, and
Yeah,
basically, there's a back and forth, a banter between Gus and Big Man. When
right.
are we going to get to Colorado? I don't know, kid. Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet.
Right.
And at this point, he's just aggravated with Sweet Tooth altogether
Right.
with Gus,
Right.
and then he's like, we got to make a pit stop first. So
Yeah.
they had this stranded school bus,
Right.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And of course, Big Man actually has stash over there with pills, different things that
Right.
he needs to survive. And
Right.
so he tells Gus, look, we're gonna head out in the morning. We're
Yeah.
gonna go and you're gonna catch a train. How do I catch a train? And Gus has never saw a train before. He does not know what it
Right.
means to catch a train. He thinks that while it's moving, he's probably gonna have to jump on this train.
Exactly. Right. Right. I
So I
thought
like
that
that.
When they, like you said, when you find out, big man's Jeopard's, place where he lived, it's in the woods, it's his bus. And when Gus does ask, because he wants Gus to get some sleep because, the next day is train day. And the way that Gus looks at him, you have to remember, this is a kid that was sheltered. He was in the woods. He knows nothing about the world other than what Pa told him about the world. So trains and Halloween and all this other stuff he doesn't know. But I thought the scene where he does go to sleep and he wakes up and you don't know if he's dreaming or if Jeopard left him. So he's wandering off of the bus and it's snowing. And I just remember him being out there scared and yelling for Jeopard because he thought he was abandoned. Come to find out it was a dream. But the big part of this is train day because he needs to get to Colorado so that he can go find Mama.
Right. And
yes.
Let me just say this. The night scene on the bus, and we're going to get into some of the other stuff that you mentioned in a minute, but the night scene to me was just a beautiful scene of them sitting on top of the bus and just talking back and forth. And then him waking up, seeing the snow, seeing the ice, seeing the... And then he gets out of the school bus and he thinks that Jeopard left him. But let me just tell you this. Snow can represent two things. Death, or it can represent someone leaving them. And I think that his own anxiety is him being left behind. Because remember, he confronted Jeopard, though. Remember? He said, were you going to leave me with that family? And he said, there's a saying, Sweet Tooth. Don't ever ask for anything that you don't want answers to.
Right.
And I think his own anxieties and stuff like that is what got the best of Gus, to be honest.
So when he went to sleep, that's on his mind is the unanswered question from Jeopard, which is, are you going to leave me? So him getting up and being out in the snow and thinking that Jeopard left him, he has anxiety because remember he was with his Pa and Pa died and, he was going to be left with those people at the visitor station where the family lived. And so I understand that his worries. Yes. And I don't want to go ahead, so I'll stop right there.
No, you're good. But now we get into this other part where Big Man, which is Jeopard, wants to try and make him blend in like a normal hybrid or a normal human being. So he said, I need you to wear this helmet. You're not allowed to do any weird deer shit.
This
is where the title comes in. And I just cracked up laughing. He goes, what do you mean? Do not move your ears. Do not talk unless you're being talking to. This is like Papa all over again. In a sense,
exactly. Very true. Right. Making sure because the costume that he's wearing, Jeopard was asking him about Halloween. And what Sweet Tooth, what Gus knows about Halloween is what Papa told him, which was you get pancakes and syrup and sweets and all that stuff, but he doesn't know costumes and all that. So it's really funny how Jeopard has this helmet, and because he's trying to make him look like he's dressed up as a hybrid kid. But didn't you find it? Yeah, a normal kid, which as they're walking, well, you get the costume, but remember when Gus makes that voice and says, I'm going to be a normal kid. I'm going to act normal. And I thought it was so funny because he's really a hilarious little kid. He really is. And he knows that he has to be normal. He has to be a kid because he's already experienced the hybrid hunters, but he's still a kid though. So, there's only so much he can take serious because he's a kid and kids do things.
Exactly. It shows that innocence about him that I mentioned
absolutely
in the second episode. And I like it. I like that whole entire banter. Hi, I'm a real boy. I'm kind
of like Pinocchio.
Right?
I want to be a real boy.
Right. But I love that banter. And then at this point, Jasper is just like done with him.
He's like very irritated.
Would you cut that shit out?
Right. Right. Because this is serious. They're going to the market.
Right. So now they go into the market, and Jasper winds up giving them a stick of gum to give access into the train yard to where he can
Right.
get a ticket for Gus.
Right.
And so, and then also Gus is also Gus is actually freaking out because he goes, Badman. He goes, it's
That's right.
okay, calm
That's
down,
right.
it's gonna be okay, do not move your ears or
That's
anything,
right.
it's gonna
Control
be
those ears.
okay. And then of
Right.
course he also doesn't know what apple caramel candy on a stick is with
Right.
candy apples. That's also another
He
thing.
it's like syrup, so he has to sweet things for him. You know, big man is like, it's like syrup. And Gus loves syrup, sweet tooth. But telling him that he has to sit at the bench, stay there, don't talk to anyone. Come on. And aren't you like holding your breath, like, please, sweet tooth, please just stay there, because you don't want him to get caught. You don't want anyone to know that he's dressed up or that he's a hybrid kid. And the ears, not being able to control the ears, because when you watch him in a costume, he can't
He can't
help
move
it.
his ears.
Yeah.
It's his normal animal instincts because he's half
Absolutely.
hybrid, half human, so we can't
Right.
control that. But he's
Exactly.
trying to do the best he can do at the
Yes.
circumstances that he's in. And he
Yes.
does a good job with it. And then, of course, as soon as he sees the candy apples with the caramel and everything, he goes over
Right.
to this one person, doesn't even pay for anything. He grabs the candy apple and starts eating
Right.
it. And Big Man goes on ahead. He goes, that's that weird dare shit I told you about not to do.
Right.
So then that's when he gives him the prep talk of just staying still. I'm going to try and get you
Right.
a ticket. Then,
Right.
of course, he sees these other kids that are just like him or
Yeah.
just regular normal kids like he met over at the other family's house. So he
Right.
goes on ahead, goes on his own little adventure, and he sees these kids knocking down these animals and stuff like
Right.
that. And I'm thinking to myself, are these actually people that are against hybrids, or they are not,
Right.
or are these just normal kids just being kids? Because of the fact that with the whole entire deal is whenever they're throwing the ball at them to knock down these animals, they have
Yeah.
like little cartoon animal stuff that's
Right.
on there to knock them down. So it's making me question, are these just normal kids? Are they hybrids? Are these part of the people at the very beginning
Right.
of the episode? What's the deal with that? But then you wind up seeing this this girl come out of nowhere, and you're thinking that she's an
Right.
enemy. And Gus is also freaking out, just like how we would freak out.
Right.
She goes, it's okay, calm down. And his ears are flopping.
Yeah, they're out of control. And he's like, I'm a boy. I'm a real boy. I'm a real boy. See, I can talk. But let's go back to the kids playing the game. Obviously it's the other kids are dressed up as hybrid kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I looked at it was, in the world that they live in, the kids' parents, they're taught that hybrids are the reason why or how you can get sick. So I looked at the kids as basically, looking at hybrids as enemies, not nice because of what they're being taught. So them playing that game of, knocking down the hybrid, the animals. And when Gus sees that, if you remember, he starts getting, his anxiety goes up because he's noticing, he's looking at them throw the ball and the intensity of them throwing the ball and hitting the animals down. It's like he freaks out, and then the kids turn around and is like, what are you looking at? Because they don't know that he's a hybrid. They think he's dressed up like they're dressed up, because some of them have ears and, little, helmets on their head. And then the girl shows up where he freaks out. I'm a kid. I'm a real boy. Look, I can talk. And I'll let you take over from there.
Okay. So while this is going on, we also have something else that's happening. And that's the fact that the doctor that is going over the notes that the other doctor left him,
right,
on how to handle hybrids and also how to help with this disease that they have.
Right.
Because remember, you said that there's actually a thing where they were shaking whenever they need their medicine and stuff like that too, this little trigger. And so he's trying to figure out how to control the trigger, but not only control the trigger, but also to cure this virus that's inside
Right.
of them. And so he's going in, he's seeing different patients every single night. He's going through his notes, but but I also like the monologue. He goes, "Now I actually feel like I have a purpose again."
Right.
Back to being where I was as a doctor and caring
Right.
for people. And that is something that I really liked from it.
He's a really good man, and um the fact that he was talking about, treating broken arms and, just regular stuff, you know what I mean? Which made him feel good in the little town, because where they live at is kind of like a Walking Dead, how everyone kind of has their own little sanctuary, and they only live there and it's blocked off, to make sure that they're safe in this neighborhood area. But his Jane Doe, who he's been working on, happens to be his wife, who he's kept alive since we've seen them in episode 1. He's kept her alive. And so he decides to name her Jane Doe because obviously he doesn't want anyone to know it's his wife. And so remember, she still has that trigger in her pinky. And as we'll find out, it's really dangerous when they find out that you're sick, because that's a trigger that lets everyone know you have the virus. So he's working on that to keep her well, to find a cure, because obviously he wants his wife to be cured, but he wants to help everyone else. But what he has to do to make the cure, it goes against everything he stands for. But he knows
Right.
that,
Right, which is to go after hybrids to
Right.
get the cure.
Baby hybrids at that.
Right. And then also too, bone marrow is also another thing.
Right.
That's also another thing. So, I'm wondering if you can do like blood transfusions or something like that with a hybrid that's willing to do that, just to do a blood transfusion or something instead of having to go through the bone marrow.
Remember how
use my imagination.
Remember how panicky he got when the order comes through and they have to shoot what do you call it, John? The thing that you shoot up in the air for a signal. I can't think of it.
A flare gun.
A flare gun. A signal flare. And so once you shoot the signal flare up, that's how he gets all his equipment and everything he needs, that they send for him. But when he looks in that box and he's freaking out, because you know what he's thinking. He's thinking that is going to be a hybrid baby in there that he has to experiment on to get what he needs to, for the vaccine, basically.
Right. And I like how he said it. These are human beings. These are kids. These are hybrid kids. This is not a normal. This is not under normal circumstances, and it goes against everything that we believe in.
Right.
And, so he's freaking out over it. And I don't want to say I like that scene because he's freaking out, but the way he plays off of it was good. I like that. I like how the actor did that. And it gives us emotion. It gives us range into
absolutely
the characterization of his character.
And when you look in the box, when they show the box is empty, because when they show that box, you're thinking as the audience, oh my God, is there going to be a hybrid baby in there? Is this where he's going to have to experiment? So when you even see that the box is empty, for me, it was like, whew. But it's coming at some point. It's coming.
Right. The question is, when is it coming? Is the thing.
When exactly.
And he even knows it. When is this coming as well? Because he knows it's going to come. It's just that he's been dodging it a little bit.
Right.
And he doesn't want to come to reality that this is what he has to do in order to save everybody. And who's to say that he won't be held at gunpoint to where they make them do it?
Exactly.
So that's going to be the next thing. Is this new? Because we're actually introduced into a new villain towards the end of this episode. So who's to say that he doesn't step in and try to force his way into giving orders to shoot him for not doing what he needs to do?
Right. Because he had to take over Dr. Bell's. Remember, she was the original doctor that was doing experiments, and she doesn't want to do it. She's ill, so she gives him, her medical book and all that stuff. So he has to take over and do what's right. But what did you think about the scene of Founders or Survivors Day?
Yeah, the Survivors Day thing was intense because even as
wow,
because that could have been them. And
yes,
and that's another thing that his wife was saying. Look, he's telling his wife, look, this is not the time to go about doing this. You still have that trigger and everything. And
Exactly.
if they see you, you're going to end up dying. And I don't
Right.
want that for you. Just no. And this just goes to show you how strong will she is to put up
Yes.
everything that she believes in and to act normal, to adapt into like a normal life.
Right.
She goes on ahead. She goes to the party. Doug, you can definitely tell something's wrong with Doug. Everything, because the first time you don't really tell that there's something wrong with him, but going
Yeah.
into it the second time, because this is my second time watching this episode.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Doug is sweating his balls off. He's
Right.
sweating over extensively. He's hyperventilating, if you think
Right.
about it. His anxiety's up. He's also has the trigger. People noticed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And also, too, his wife's also next to him. And she's
Yeah.
freaking out. Well, technically, the doctor's freaking out. Because remember,
Yes.
she noticed, and he sees the trigger before this even happens with Doug.
Exactly.
And this is
Right.
the whole Planet of the Apes vibe thing I was telling you about whenever they were talking about Planet of the Apes. And so the doctor winds up holding her hand. So was there any Gorgiles in that movie? Knowing that there's no Gorgiles in Planet of the Apes.
No.
Remember, remember they're going through a scene that they liked, that these people liked. And I don't know if you caught this or not, but he's freaking out. The doctor's freaking out. So the first thing that comes to his mind whenever they're talking about that scene in Planet of the Apes, which is totally he's just trying to think of something to throw them off so the way they're not looking at her being triggered. But anyways, he goes, so were there any Gorgiles in that movie? Was that in that movie, that moving picture, the picture? So it was, here's the thing. Everyone's looking at him like he's weird as hell, though, because he's like, what is he talking about? We're talking about Planet of the Apes. Why is he talking about Gorgiles? You even gave me that same look.
Right. Yeah, I did. I was like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on. And so he's panicking. The wife is telling him, no, it's okay. It's fine.
Right.
I'm fine. So Doug is over there being real trippy and everything.
Absolutely.
Goes, and then he goes, well, I can't do any tests on him because he knows that there's something wrong with Doug.
Yeah.
But he goes, I can't do anything about it because my stuff is at home. And so it was to be, there's the neighborhood watch woman who has everything in her survival backpack. And she says, it's okay. I have one. I'm like, well, nice knowing you, Doug. But I feel so bad for Doug in this episode.
Dude, that was crazy.
If only the doctor could go ahead, and if there was 2 vitals to where he can mix his blood, and you know what I'm saying, have 2 different vitals and switch bait it.
Yes.
That would be the only way to save Doug's life. But he's in front of everybody too, because there's also no way to switch bait it either because of the fact that you're in a crowded room with people. So he's screwed either way it goes.
Exactly.
And it turns this purplish color, the blood turns purple, which tests them positive to be part of this hybrid. So next thing you know it, Doug winds up being Dextered, basically, wraps up in saran wrap and burns him alive.
I mean, that was crazy. Burned him and the whole house down. And then they're all standing outside, singing a song, watching, knowing he's in there burning. And there's one thing that stood out to me, the normality of it. Yeah. The one guy is standing there just eating a slice of pie as he's watching the house burn. They've done this before. This has become normal for them. So I'm scared for the wife because this could be her fate. If they ever catch her twitch, now we know this is how they deal with it.
Right.
And to them, that's humane.
Right. Just put the person out of their misery, get rid of the disease, because here's the thing, to them, Doug has it, but to them, he affected everything in the house.
Exactly. Right.
So therefore they have to do something to get rid of the disease. So therefore they're going to go ahead, kill Doug, who's actually the disease, and kill anything that's infected that Doug touched. So therefore Doug is dead. But I just feel bad. I just feel so bad for him. And the fact that they're treating this as if it's normal, it scares me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. And everyone's scared. All of them are scared, I mean, they were panicked when they saw Doug start twitching out and freaked out. And I mean, and it was an instant wrap him up in the saran wrap to that chair. They're outside of the house, burn it down as they all stand there and sing and just eat pie because they've obviously done this before.
Exactly.
Survivor's Day.
So now we're going into the next day with Gus and Big Man. And so now it gets a little bit of emotional time because Big Man does wind up finding him Gus a ticket.
Yes.
And he also gives him a candy apple. He gives him a bunch of other stuff to snack on and everything. Yeah. And I almost shed a tear for that and everything too.
Right.
But then Sweet Tooth Gus winds up smelling some candy, which happens to be Big Man's medicine.
Right.
And also too, there's this logo on there that looks like a butterfly whenever they pull up the middle thing, because it looks like World War II kind of MRE kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's like, well, which one is it? He goes, well, hurry up. We need to find out which one it is. And then Gus winds up finding it, sniffs it out, pulls it up, and has this like butterfly symbol, which is the same symbol that we see at the very end of this episode, which represents the other crew, the one that wants to kill them and poach them.
Yes.
But for that instant, you're scared for them because you're like, hurry up, Gus, hurry up. And then there's this guard that comes out of nowhere. Hey, you guys need to get out of here and everything and go on your train and go on your way. And then, of course, Big Man winds up knocking him out. Yeah. And then another guard comes and he shoots the railroad track and causes it to do something with Gus's ear to where it starts twitching.
Exactly. And they know that we got a hybrid here. And then there's hysteria, as, Jep and the Gus try to get away. They end up getting caught, and you see, and it looks like they're going to be shot, but they end up getting caught, being roped up, and you see them. Go ahead.
Well, before that happens, though, too, they run off. They're about to say their goodbyes. Remember?
Right.
They're running to the train after they knock out the two guards. And then they're about to say their goodbyes. And then you're about to shed a tear. Then all of a sudden, one of the guards blabs his mouth and says, hey, that's a hybrid that's on that train. You need to get him off of there. Next thing you know it, they pulled Big Man against his will. Then they take the helmet off where Gus is actually pretending to be a real person. And then they wind up, like you said, taking them in. Tied up, being dragged. And then, of course, I'm going to let you go on ahead and talk about the rest of the scene.
So they're being dragged behind these horses. And they're taking them somewhere. The headhunters, the hybrid hunters are taking them somewhere. As far as I thought, this is over with. I wonder what camp they're going to go to. And then out of a blue, they're shooting. They're all being attacked. And what do you know? It goes back to the beginning of that episode when it starts. The kids are there again. And that's what we see.
Yeah, that's what we see. It's actually the girl from, she was just trying to protect Gus all this time.
Right.
And, at first Gus was going to go on him, follow her. And then that's when Big Man winds up stopping him before this whole entire catastrophe happened. But I'm glad that he stopped him because he didn't know what he was going to get himself into.
Right.
Or anything like that. He can't be too trusting is the thing.
Exactly. And he's very trusting. Obviously, he's a kid and he's trusting.
Right. So now you have this thing where you have trust being built with Gus and also Big Man now. Right. Which is something that I like. And now they're no longer on their own in a sense. But you don't know where that's going to go either in the next episode. But I know Netflix, I can binge it, but I'm choosing just to go episode by episode. And I love going episode by episode.
So you haven't binged it yet.
I'm holding out.
I'm happy that you haven't. I'm happy that you haven't because obviously I have. And so all I have to say is the next episode is so exciting.
I can't wait to see it. And there's one other thing I want to mention is the fact that they do get over to the leader who's dressed as a bear, reveals himself as basically General Abbott is informed that she has been found, that
Right.
the leader of the bear crew, which is what I'm calling her right now,
Yeah.
of the bear
Right.
crew has been found. And then that's, of course, when it cuts off.
Right. But is it her? Is it her that they're also talking about? Or are they talking about someone else as well?
Well, I don't know. I'm just
There you go. There you
right.
go. Wait till you see it.
But
Wait till you see it.
this is like the shortest episode that they
Yeah.
have, because it's like
Yeah.
only 42 minutes long. It's not that long of
Right.
an episode compared to the first two episodes.
Yeah.
And it goes by quickly. You don't realize how quick it goes until we get there, and you're
Yeah.
hungry for more. And
Oh, absolutely. You are. I mean, that's why I couldn't stop. That's why I binged it, because I just wanted to see what happens next, because it's a really intriguing show. It's full of action, excitement. Plus, you're wanting to follow Gus on his adventure to find this mom, and all this other stuff. Other stuff happens on his way to where, for me, it's like I just, before I knew it, I was done. But this was a very short episode, because I was like, gosh, it's already done yet? Or already done already?
right.
Like, we just started, yeah. And it's
And it's
just getting good.
exactly. But
Yeah.
that's everything that I needed to say about this episode, because there's not really much else to say about it. Because usually
Right.
with me, I'll find some small details here and there, but with this one,
Yeah.
it's pretty much cut and dry on what it is.
Yes.
So, with that being said, Rossie, where can everybody reach you at if they want to follow you on social media and all that other good stuff?
Well, you can follow me on my Instagram at Mccree123 hotmail.com, MCCREE hotmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Rossie Lynn Bark 1. That's RossieLynnBarq 1. And on Facebook at Rossie Lynn.
All right. And guys, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, we're having our Hawkeye Friday review of Hawkeye. Yes, I know it aired on Wednesday, but I figured to do something fun on Fridays, to have a Hawkeye after show on Fridays. So you can do that 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and be there for that. It's going to be on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Another thing too is on Mondays we have Dexter Mondays, but unfortunately, because of some confrontations with some things, we're only going to have that on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page only, which I have it in our community section of where you guys can get that at on Mondays, and you can even watch the episodes by episode section over there on our Facebook page as well. So you guys can do that on our Dexter New Blood reviews. But Mondays is Dexter Mondays, so that's what I'm calling it. So we have that coming up. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go on ahead and tell you this. You guys can go on ahead and follow me underneath Movie Lovers TV Lovers Night on Facebook, and underneath the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. If you would like to go on ahead and get an audio only podcast of our episode, you can get that wherever you guys get your major podcasts from. Also, too, go on ahead, follow us on Good Pods, rate individual episodes on Good Pods, give us a 5-star review if you want to, or if you want to, just go on ahead, tell us what you think of the episode. Now you guys get to talk to us and reply and tell us what you guys think, because they just updated their app. So this is a good time to tell us what you think, or just go ahead and jump in the comment section below on YouTube. Tell us what you think over there. Give us a thumbs up. Also, too, smash that subscribe button. Smash that little bell in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to allow you guys know when we have something new coming out. Another thing, too, is guys, go on ahead, donate to the page. How do you do that? Just go to GoFundMe.com/Movie Lovers Podcast, and that's how you can donate $5 to $10 over here. But like I said, just clicking that subscribe button and smashing that bell on the bottom right-hand corner, it does enough for us at Movie Lovers Unite. We do appreciate that. Also, too, if you want to, go ahead and follow us underneath Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter. And then, of course, underneath the same brand name, again, on Movie Lovers Unit 0 on TikTok as well. And thank you again, Rossie. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your night to be able to do this and everything.
Thanks
it
for
means so
having
much
me.
to me.
Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Anytime. And I appreciate all the viewers who's been watching this whole entire review since we started. Thank you so much. And thank you to the 579 subscribers that we have here. It's been so nice to be able to have have awesome subscribers. And always, until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Can't we do this again? And bye-bye.